I want to follow up on the discussion thread that's happening with this job involvement scale and looking at it with the numerical scale versus just putting in SAA, etc. And what I'm hoping you're beginning to realize is that even though these are the same surveys, that you cannot take the numbers that are associated with this, divide add up all your responses, divide by the number of responses, and come up with anything that's meaningful. This 2.25, even though we might think it's somewhere in here, isn't on the scale. You couldn't have picked 2.25 to start with. If you can't pick that, you can't come up with that as a response for an average for you. Just like when you do it this way, you cannot add all these SAs, NAs, Ds together, add those up and divide by 12 and come up with anything. If you can't do it here, because these numbers only represent these letters, if you can't do it here, then you shouldn't do it here. Just because we've turned these letters into numbers does not change the nature of the scale of this. This is an ordinal data. The distance between SA and A and NA, is different for each of us. What causes me to put SA instead of A on this is different than what it might cause for somebody else to do that. And if that number is different, what causes us to do that is different for each of us, then trying to come up with everybody's overall view of this is very difficult to do. You can't add those together and come up with anything meaningful. Now, what is the value of this? Let me say one other thing. You'll see this happen all the time. You'll see lots and lots of people who will take ordinal data like this and do exactly what we're describing here. Just because you've seen that done, that doesn't mean that it's okay. It has been done so much that people have come to accept that that is the right thing to do, even though it's not. Now, why does this matter? Well, it matters because of this. Going back to choosing our statistical test, remember I said that if data is measurement type data, it's interval or ratio, then there is a set of what we're going to call parametric statistics that runs down this column, and a set of non-parametric statistics for rank or ordinal data. So, in this example, this is ordinal data. It doesn't matter that it's numbers. It's really just this. It's ordinal data. That means that there's a set of, because it's rank, a set of statistical analysis, non-parametric analysis that are supposed to be used. So for example, if I want to compare males and females on this job scale, that would be comparing two groups, and there's a test called a Wilcoxon test, and we'll get this to this at the end of the course, that we're supposed to be using. The odds are what you're going to be seeing is something called a t-test. That is the wrong test to use for this kind of scale. And I cannot overemphasize this enough. That is one of the problems we're seeing with research, is people using the wrong statistical test for this. I'm going to post this short video as a response to the discussion threads to kind of wrap that up so that we can move on. If you have questions, you need to email the whole class those, because I want to make sure that we understand this aspect of research.